want you to hear this today. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is a messenger sent to wake you up, to remind you that you are standing at the threshold of something monumental. The moment you feel that knot in your stomach, that heaviness in your chest, know this: you are standing at the edge of your greatness. But here's where we miss it. We've been taught to run from fear, to avoid it, to let it dictate our choices. But fear is not here to paralyze you. It is here to awaken you to the truth of who you are. It is a signal, a divine calling, that you are ready for more. When fear comes, you have a choice. You can shrink back or you can rise up. The real question is, can you detach from fear's hold on your heart? Can you become so rooted in your faith, so anchored in your purpose, that the waves of fear no longer shake your foundation? Detachment is not about indifference. It is about inner strength. It is the ability to walk through life knowing that no matter what comes, you are not swayed by the emotions of the moment. You know who you are and you know whose you are. And so the unknown, the thing we fear most, is actually a portal. It's a doorway leading to the life you were always meant to live. On the other side of fear is freedom. On the other side is your potential, waiting for you to step into it. Every time you step into the unknown, you step into the vastness of your potential. It is in that very space where your true purpose reveals itself. Fear thrives in the illusion of safety. The world tells us to stay comfortable, to stay where it's familiar. But comfort is not your calling. Comfort is a cage that keeps you small. Your soul is calling for expansion. Your purpose is calling for action. So why are we waiting? Why are we hesitating? Why do we continue to shrink ourselves when the universe is saying it is time to soar? Understand this. The biggest obstacle is not the world around you. It's the voice inside you that tells you you're not enough. That is the voice of fear masquerading as your inner critic. That voice is a liar. You are not created for smallness. You are not created to be limited by self-doubt or the opinions of others. The only thing standing between you and your destiny is the courage to believe in yourself. Fear and faith cannot coexist. When you begin to walk by faith, fear loses its grip. When you trust that there is a plan for your life greater than your own understanding, fear begins to dissolve. It is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting that you are being guided every step of the way. Your destiny is unfolding even in the uncertainty. The divine is never absent. It is guiding, protecting, and preparing you for greatness. So I ask you today, will you walk into the unknown? Will you detach from the illusion of safety and trust that your journey, though uncertain, is perfectly orchestrated? You were made for this moment. You were born to step into the unknown and emerge stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your divine purpose than you ever thought possible. Let fear be your signal. Let the unknown be your doorway. And let faith be the fuel that propels you forward. The only way out is through. And through this journey, you will discover a version of yourself that is limitless, powerful, and unstoppable.
You are ready. You are capable. You are destined for greatness.
Fear is often misunderstood as an enemy to be avoided or conquered, but in truth, it is one of the most valuable guides you can have on your journey. Fear is not something to push away. It is a messenger, signaling that you are on the verge of something significant. Whenever you feel fear, it is not an indication of weakness or an obstacle that must be bypassed. It is the moment of your soul's awakening, telling you that you are standing at the edge of expansion. Fear reveals to you the areas where you are about to grow, areas that you may have previously avoided because they seem daunting or unknown. Fear is a natural part of the human experience, and when you stop fearing it, you open the door to personal transformation. It is only by walking directly through fear that you break through the limitations you have placed on yourself. Fear is the inner voice that calls you to step beyond your comfort zone, to stretch beyond your self-imposed boundaries. It's not a signal that you should turn back, but rather that you are about to break through into a higher version of yourself, one that you could never access by remaining in safety or familiarity. What fear does at its core is expose what matters most to you. It shows you where your deepest desires lie and where you are most capable of growth. When you face your fear, you face the very parts of your soul that are yearning for the next level of life. Rather than viewing fear as something to be feared, you can learn to see it as a vital part of the process, a necessary companion on the path toward your highest self, pushing you into the fullness of your potential. True courage does not come from the absence of fear, but from the ability to rise above it. Emotional detachment is not about suppressing your feelings or disconnecting from the world around you. It is about reaching a place within yourself where fear no longer has the power to control your actions. When you detach emotionally from fear, you stop allowing it to govern your decisions and reactions. Instead of being paralyzed by the uncertainty or overwhelmed by the potential for failure, you gain clarity and peace, knowing that fear is simply a passing moment in your journey. Detachment is the recognition that your worth and your path are not defined by external circumstances or the fleeting emotions that arise within you. It's about understanding that fear does not define who you are. You are not your fear. You are not your doubts. You are not your anxieties. You are a powerful, purposeful being with a mission far greater than the temporary discomfort fear tries to create. When you detach, you no longer tie your sense of self-worth to the approval of others, to the outcomes of your actions, or to the noise of the world. You simply stand firm in the knowing that you are divinely guided, equipped, and able to handle whatever comes your way. In this state of detachment, you develop an inner strength that allows you to make decisions from a place of clarity rather than reaction. You begin to trust the process, knowing that no matter how the external world unfolds, you remain rooted in your purpose and your faith. This emotional freedom is not a lack of feeling, it is the empowerment to feel without being controlled. It is the strength to feel fear, yet choose faith over fear every single time. The unknown is not a void to be feared, but a vast, uncharted territory brimming with possibility. Every time you step into the unknown, you are essentially stepping into your future, into a realm where your potential can no longer be contained by the limitations of what you've already experienced. It is in this space of uncertainty that the seeds of transformation are sown. We often fear what we do not understand, but the unknown is where true growth takes place. When you embrace the unknown, you open yourself to the limitless potential of who you can become, far beyond the constraints of your current reality. Every new experience, no matter how uncomfortable it may seem in the moment, has the power to expand you in ways you cannot yet comprehend. The unknown is a gateway to the highest version of yourself, and yet it requires you to surrender control and trust in the process. It requires faith not only in your abilities, but in the divine wisdom that is guiding your steps. When you embrace the unknown, you embrace the unfolding of your destiny. What lies ahead is a perfect alignment of opportunities, lessons, and breakthroughs that you cannot access by staying in the safety of the familiar. The unknown may challenge you. It may push you to question your comfort zones, but it is also the place where miracles manifest. It is the divine playing field where things happen that you never thought were possible, connections, insights, and achievements that will redefine who you are. The unknown invites you to release the need for control and instead trust that the journey itself is leading you exactly where you need to go. It is not a place of danger, but a place of divine alignment where you are called to rise to the occasion and realize your greatest potential. Emotional freedom is the highest form of spiritual mastery because it signifies the ability to live unshackled by the weight of external circumstances. When you detach from emotional turbulence, you cease to be at the mercy of fleeting feelings, and instead, you step into a realm of inner peace that can never be disturbed by outside forces. It's not about ignoring or suppressing your emotions, but learning how to feel them without being controlled by them. This kind of freedom doesn't come from ignoring the reality of challenges. It comes from understanding that you have the power to choose how you respond, no matter what arises. The ability to navigate through life with emotional detachment is rooted in a profound trust in yourself and the process of life itself. It is the deep knowing that even when you feel fear, doubt, or frustration, these emotions do not dictate the course of your life unless you let them. When you detach emotionally, you no longer react out of impulse or fear. You act with intention, grounded in your purpose and spiritual clarity. This is not indifference to the world's struggles or the people around you. Rather, it is the ability to love, support, and engage with life without allowing your emotions to cloud your judgment or rob you of peace. This emotional freedom gives you the strength to face challenges with resilience and grace. It enables you to make decisions that are aligned with your highest good, not driven by emotional turbulence or fear of the unknown. You are no longer swayed by the opinions of others or the outcomes of situations. You have cultivated a strong inner foundation that allows you to weather storms with unshakable confidence. In this space of emotional freedom, you embody the divine strength that lies within, moving through life with the clarity and courage to live your truth. Safety is an illusion that many seek, believing it will provide the peace and security necessary for a fulfilled life. But this desire for safety often leads us to build walls around our potential, limiting ourselves to what is familiar and comfortable. True freedom does not come from staying within the confines of what we know, but from embracing the unknown and stepping beyond the boundaries of our comfort zones. Safety keeps us small. It keeps us stuck in cycles of mediocrity, never fully experiencing the expansive possibilities that life has to offer. What we consider safety is often just a form of self-imposed limitation. The mind convinces us that staying in the familiar is the path of least resistance. Yet this path rarely leads to growth or fulfillment. When we cling to safety, we are essentially avoiding the very thing that can push us toward our purpose. The unknown, in contrast, holds the keys to true liberation. It is where we discover strengths and capabilities we never thought possible, where we find our deepest calling and step into the fullness of who we are meant to be. Choosing the unknown means embracing uncertainty, trusting that the journey will unfold in ways that surpass our expectations. The unknown is where our faith is tested, where we are forced to surrender the need for control and instead trust in divine timing and guidance. It's in the unknown that the most profound lessons and opportunities are hidden, waiting for us to discover them. If we spend our lives avoiding the unknown in search of safety, we deny ourselves the chance to experience the full spectrum of life's richness. It's only by stepping out of the familiar that we truly experience the freedom and growth that lead to our highest potential. The voice of the inner critic is often the loudest when we stand on the edge of transformation. It whispers lies, telling us we are not capable, not worthy, or not enough. It magnifies every mistake, exaggerates every flaw, and builds walls around our potential. But this inner critic is not the voice of truth. It is a manifestation of fear designed to keep us small and confined within the limits of our comfort zone. When we listen to this voice, we allow it to define our worth and dictate our actions. Yet, the moment we silence this critic, we step into a space of limitless possibility. To conquer the inner critic is to reclaim your power. It's the decision to no longer accept the false narratives it weaves about your abilities. The inner critic thrives on self-doubt and comparison, feeding off the fear of failure and rejection. But the truth is that you are more than your mistakes, your imperfections, or your perceived shortcomings. You are a being of infinite potential, created for greatness and worthy of everything you desire. The inner critic cannot define your destiny unless you allow it to. When you begin to silence this voice, you free yourself to make bold choices, to take risks, and to move forward without the burden of self-judgment. It's not about being perfect, it's about embracing your flaws and stepping into action despite them. The more you choose to believe in yourself, the quieter the inner critic becomes. And as it fades into the background, you begin to hear the louder, more powerful voice of your true self, the one that knows no limits and sees only possibilities. Fear and faith are polar opposites, yet they often coexist in the same space, pulling us in different directions. The moment you choose to embrace faith, however, fear begins to lose its grip on your life. Faith is the belief that everything you need is already within you or is being divinely aligned for you. It is the knowing that no matter how uncertain the road ahead may seem, you are supported by a power greater than yourself. When faith enters your heart, it illuminates the path ahead and replaces the darkness of fear with the light of possibility. The key to overcoming fear is not by confronting it head-on with resistance, but by choosing to trust in something greater. When you trust that the universe, God, or whatever force you believe in is guiding your steps, fear loses its dominance. Faith allows you to step into the unknown with courage because it gives you the assurance that you are exactly where you need to be, even if the journey isn't immediately clear. Faith doesn't require you to have all the answers. It requires you to believe that the answers will come as you move forward. Every time you make a choice rooted in faith, you build a muscle of trust that gradually dissolves fear. Fear thrives on uncertainty, but faith thrives in that same uncertainty, knowing that the unknown is the canvas upon which your greatest achievements will be painted. As you walk in faith, you learn to see the unknown not as a threat, but as an opportunity, a space where everything you've ever wanted is waiting for you. Fear and faith cannot coexist because the more you trust, the less fear has the power to control you. Understand this. Fear is not your enemy, but your ally in disguise, guiding you toward the extraordinary life you are destined to live. The unknown is not a void to be feared, but a gateway to your true potential. When you choose faith over fear, when you detach emotionally from the temporary chaos and trust in the divine plan unfolding, you step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. The strength you seek, the courage you crave, and the clarity you long for have always been within you. You have the power to silence the inner critic, to walk through fear, and to embrace the unknown with unwavering confidence. Your destiny is not a distant dream. It is right in front of you, waiting for you to take that first step of faith. So step boldly into the unknown. Let fear be the fuel that propels you forward, and let faith be the light that guides your path. You are not here by accident. You are here because the world needs the gift you carry within. Embrace it, trust it, and know that with each step you take, you are unlocking the greatest version of yourself. The journey may not always be easy, but it will always be worth it.